In the dark recesses of a galaxy that has long underestimated Earth, the human species' greatest weapon is activated. An alien council watches in awe and terror as a colossal human starship, thought to be a myth, decloaks from the shadows, revealing Earth's full military potential. The aliens react with confusion, fear, and disbelief as they struggle to comprehend the implications of this unprecedented event. The alien council chamber hummed with an unnatural calm, the sterile air only broken by the soft clicking of monitors. A vast network of holographic screens floated in the center, showing the galaxy's expanse, yet today the images were irrelevant. The council members, a mix of reptilian and insectoid species, watched in silence as one of their own, a highly decorated commander, stood trembling before an unknown signal. On the screen, a lone, massive shape appeared, a ship unlike any they had ever seen. The size was incomprehensible, an organic fusion of machine and biology, its hull gleaming with a black sheen that seemed to absorb light. There was a certain eerie, palpable weight to its presence. It moved with deliberate slowness, a distant shadow that inched closer to the heart of their territory. The ship had the unmistakable profile of something alien, but it wasn't alien at all. "Is it?" the commander whispered. "Impossible," another council member responded, their voice trembling. "We destroyed them. We left them to rot on a dead world." The data pouring in confirmed the truth. Earth's mythic flagship, the Indomitable, was alive, and its people had returned. The humans, thought to be scattered and decimated centuries ago, had somehow revived their long-dormant technologies. And now their warship, as vast and powerful as any empire, was bearing down on the galaxy's heart. "Activate full protocol," the commander barked, voice cracking. "We need a full tactical overview now." The ship drifted closer, cloaking technology flickering in and out of existence, as if daring them to challenge its stealth. Inside the command center of the Indomitable, Captain Eleanor Stark stood, her hands gripping the control panel with a quiet, controlled intensity. She had no grand speech prepared, no boastful words of humanity's return, only the deep, quiet realization that their survival had come at a cost, and today the universe would understand what it had overlooked. "Message to all sectors. Prepare for first contact," she said, her voice echoing with resolve. "No one is to initiate communication until I give the order." A countdown began, its mechanical click resonating throughout the ship. Back in the council chamber, the commander's eyes widened as the ship's trajectory shifted, moving closer to their central hub. The power shift was palpable, even through the cold technology that separated them. Then, silence. A single transmission beeped through the alien networks. The message, "We are Earth. We've returned. Your time is up." And then, a pause. In the stillness, the human line rang out one final chilling command: "Prepare for war." The galaxy's heart lay in the Council's sector, but its pulse was quickly shifting. The Indomitable had sent shockwaves through the galaxy's security net. Alien fleets were mobilizing at an unprecedented rate, and whispers of humanity's return spread like wildfire. The once mocked human species, now a fearsome, unknown entity, were about to reveal the extent of their power. "Will we fight them?" one alien general asked, his voice thick with hesitation. "Do we have a choice?" a rival general countered, his antennae twitching nervously. "The humans are like nothing we've encountered. We underestimated them before. We cannot afford the same mistake." In a remote war room on the Indomitable, Captain Stark stood before a holographic display of the galactic map. Her eyes narrowed as she examined the alien fleet formations. They were moving quickly, organizing into a defensive perimeter around their strongest worlds. "They think we've come to conquer," Stark murmured to her officers. "They're wrong. We came to survive, And if they get in our way, they'll learn what it means to challenge a dying species who had nothing left to lose. The alien sectors were already issuing diplomatic calls, begging for a peaceful resolution. A high-ranking envoy from the Council transmitted an urgent message to the human fleet, promising peaceful negotiations. But the words rang hollow, steeped in fear and desperation. "These creatures are used to controlling everything," Stark said, turning to her strategic advisor. "They don't know what it means to be hunted, but they will, and we'll show them the price of that ignorance." The Indomitable shifted its course slightly, locking its weapon systems onto a distant enemy flagship. But Stark gave the order to hold fire. "We don't shoot unless we're provoked," she stated coldly. "Let them come to us. Let them realize we're not just another fallen empire to squash underfoot." Back on the alien world, the Council's panic reached a boiling point. The debate had turned into a chaotic storm of accusations, plans, and counterplans. Some urged immediate evacuation, others pushed for a full-scale confrontation, while a few proposed appeasement. "We can't run. They'll follow us," the Council's chief strategist argued. "They're too far gone. They've rebuilt and learned from their past mistakes. They've seen how the galaxy fell into complacency, and now they're back to make us pay for it." The Council's final decision was made with cold pragmatism. A war was coming, and the galaxy wasn't ready. The tension in the alien council chamber had reached its peak. The hum of nervous energy that filled the room was deafening, a constant reminder of the uncertainty that now gripped the galaxy. From their distant vantage point, the council members could see the Indomitable, humanity's flagship, looming in the sky like a giant spectre. It was both a symbol of human resilience and a terrifying harbinger of what was to come. For centuries, Earth had been regarded as a lost, insignificant world. Yet here it was, shaking the very foundations of galactic politics. The alien ambassador, a towering figure draped in black and silver ceremonial robes, paced back and forth before the council's central table. His movements were measured, calculated, as if each step carried the weight of an entire civilization's fate. "We can't allow this," he said, his voice hoarse. "This is no mere ship. This is a statement. The humans are coming, and they're not asking for permission." Across from him, a reptilian council member with scarred green skin and cold, unforgiving eyes raised a clawed hand. "We've observed their movements. They're not here to negotiate. They're here to make demands. What we saw in their communications," he hissed, "was a warning." The ambassador froze. "A warning?" "Yes," the reptilian replied. "A statement of what's to come, and I believe them. I've seen their warships. Their weapons are nothing like what we've faced before." A third council member, a creature whose body seemed to ripple and shift like liquid metal, turned his gaze toward the ambassador. "Then we must act. We cannot allow them to simply waltz into our systems, flaunting their technology as if they own it." The ambassador took a slow, deliberate breath. "We cannot afford to act rashly. We have intelligence on their capabilities, but we don't fully understand the extent of their power. We need time. Time to gather more data. Time to form a strategy." The council was divided. Some argued for an immediate response for the defense of their territories. Others were more cautious, recommending diplomatic negotiations or even an alliance with the humans. But all of them agreed on one thing: the Indomitable could not be ignored. Its presence alone was a declaration of war. Meanwhile, on the Indomitable, Captain Elena Stark stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the vast expanse of space ahead. The weight of the moment settled heavily on her shoulders, but she showed no sign of weakness. She was a leader, and today her species was stepping into the light once more. "We've entered their space," Stark said, her voice calm but resolute. "The Council won't take this lightly. We'll need to be ready for anything." A tactical officer nodded, his fingers flying across the touch panels before him. The alien fleets are beginning to mobilize. We've detected at least 5 separate fleets in motion. They're all converging on us." Stark's lips curled into a grim smile. "Let them come." The officer hesitated, glancing up at her. "Captain, we're not in a position to fight multiple fleets at once. Their ships are technologically advanced, and we don't know what else they have hidden up their sleeves." Stark's expression hardened. "We didn't come here to fight for survival, Lieutenant. We came here to remind them of who we are. We'll make them see that humanity's not a species to be dismissed." She turned to her comms officer. "Send a message to all fleets. Prepare for engagement. Our survival isn't negotiable." The comms officer tapped a series of commands, sending the transmission across the void. The message was clear. The humans were not asking for peace. They were demanding respect. As Stark stared at the incoming fleets, her mind raced. She had been prepared for this moment for years, since the day she had watched her world fall apart, watched the galaxy abandon Earth, leaving her species to fend for itself. The technology they now wielded was born from the ruins of their past, from the shattered remnants of a civilization that had fought, lost, and rebuilt. But the galaxy hadn't seen the rebuilding. It hadn't witnessed humanity's ascent from the ashes, and now it would. The alien fleets approached, their vessels forming a tight formation. Stark could feel the tension in the air. This wasn't just a battle of ships, it was a battle for identity, for the very soul of humanity. "Deploy defensive shields," Stark ordered, her voice unshakable. "Prepare all weapons. If they fire first, we return fire. If not, we show them what we're capable of." The crew responded instantly, the ship's hum shifting to a deep, vibrating pulse as the systems powered up. Every single person on board had been training for this moment, this first contact with a galaxy that had forgotten them. The Indomitable was not just a warship, it was a message. As the alien fleets continued their approach, Stark watched the space around them bend and warp, the fabric of reality itself seeming to shudder under the strain. It was their cloaking tech, the technology that had been so carefully hidden for decades, coming to life. The Indomitable had cloaked itself in the shadows, blending with the void. But as the enemy fleets got closer, it was time to reveal their power. The first shot came as a blur of light, streaking across space and striking the leading alien vessel with a deafening roar. It exploded into a cloud of debris, fragments scattering in all directions. Stark watched with cold satisfaction as the shockwaves rippled outward, disintegrating any ships caught in the blast radius. The Indomitable had already shifted its position, cloaked again, just as quickly as it had revealed itself. The alien fleets recoiled, confusion and fear spreading like wildfire. They had underestimated humanity. No, they had believed Earth was lost, a forgotten relic. But the humans had returned, and they weren't here to negotiate. They were here to claim what was rightfully theirs. The alien commander, now in full panic mode, barked orders to his fleet, attempting to regroup. "Activate all energy shields. Recalibrate the weapon systems. We cannot let them..." Before he could finish, the Indomitable struck again, this time with a burst of energy so powerful that it sliced through the alien formations like a hot knife through butter. The ships exploded in an instant, their technology powerless against the humans' superior firepower. It was no longer a question of if the galaxy would accept humanity. It was a question of how many of them would survive to see the dawn of this new era. In the heart of the Alien Council, the mood shifted dramatically. The same members who had once advocated for peace now stood in disbelief. The Reptilian Council member who had once dismissed the humans as a threat now stared wide-eyed at the holographic display. This is impossible." The ambassador stepped forward, his voice trembling. "No, it's not impossible. It's exactly what they said it would be. We've made a grave mistake. The humans have returned, and they've come to reclaim what was taken from them." Back aboard the Indomitable, Captain Stark stood silent, watching the destruction unfold. She had no joy in this. This wasn't about vengeance. It was about survival. The galaxy would remember Earth, it would remember humanity, and it would learn to fear them. As the alien fleet scattered in retreat, Stark allowed herself one moment of reflection. It was only the beginning. The darkness of space had never felt so cold, so empty. The alien fleets, once a symbol of fear, now fled in disarray, scattered across the vastness of the galaxy. The Indomitable stood tall, a towering monument to humanity's wrath and survival. Yet as Captain Elena Stark stood on the bridge, watching the chaos unfold, she couldn't shake the feeling that the real battle was yet to come. The battle for humanity's future had begun, but it was more than just a fight for survival. It was a fight to reclaim their dignity, to remind the galaxy that Earth, their home, had not been forgotten. The blood of their ancestors, the sacrifices, the losses, they had all led to this moment. Status report. Stark's voice cut through the heavy silence in the command room. We've disabled their primary fleets, Captain. The tactical officer reported, his voice strained with a mixture of awe and disbelief. Several of their ships have retreated, but there's still a significant number of smaller fleets holding their positions. Stark nodded, her gaze fixed on the holographic map. The galaxy was vast, but humanity had just made its mark. The Indomitable had proven that they were not the forgotten species, not the relics of a lost world. Earth's might, forged in the fires of desperation, had shattered the illusions of those who thought they could erase humanity from the cosmos. Prepare. The second wave, Stark ordered, her voice unwavering. We can't let them regroup. Push forward, show them that we're not here to negotiate, we're here to dominate. As the orders were relayed, the ship's engines hummed with a low, powerful resonance. The Indomitable shifted in space, cutting through the galaxy with brutal efficiency, hunting down the remaining alien ships. There was no mercy, no room for hesitation. This was the reckoning humanity had long been denied. But as Stark's thoughts turned to the future, a new communication blinked onto the command screen. It was a direct transmission, encrypted with a level of sophistication that could only come from the highest echelons of the Alien Council. Stark hesitated for a moment, sensing the weight of what was coming. Then, with a sharp breath, she activated the message. A hologram flickered to life before her. It was an alien commander, tall and regal, wearing the ceremonial armor of his race. His eyes were cold, calculating, but there was something different about his demeanor now. There was fear, a fear that no one in the galaxy had ever expected to see on the face of an alien leader. Captain Stark, the alien commander began, his voice calm but heavy with the weight of his position. We surrender. The words hung in the air, a declaration that echoed across the vastness of space. Stark remained silent for a moment, absorbing the gravity of what she was hearing. The galaxy's most powerful empire, which had once sought to erase humanity from its records, was now kneeling before her. They were offering surrender. I'm listening, Stark said, her voice cold, her heart still racing from the battle. We offer you peace, the commander continued. We were wrong to underestimate you. You've proven that humanity is not only alive, but that you are a force to be reckoned with. The galaxy is at your mercy now. We seek to end the conflict before it escalates further. Stark's eyes narrowed. She had heard this before. Alien species had offered peace before, only to break their promises when it suited them. The humans had been crushed once before under the weight of false peace and empty words. No, they weren't here to make deals. They were here to take what was theirs. Peace, Stark echoed. You don't get to decide when peace comes. You had your chance and you squandered it. My people died for you to think we were weak. You underestimated us. And now, her eyes burned with a quiet fury. Now, we are the ones who will decide the fate of this galaxy. The alien commander's eyes flickered with a hint of panic, but he quickly masked it with a calculated composure. "We understand. But you must understand this, Captain. We control the majority of the galaxy's resources. If you push forward, you will face far more than we have shown you. This war will consume everything." Stark stood tall, her hands clasped behind her back, her eyes fixed on the hologram. "Then let it consume everything. If that's what it takes to remind the galaxy who we are, so be it." There was a moment of silence between them, a silence that spoke volumes. Then in a low voice, the alien commander spoke again. "You truly believe you can conquer us? You believe you can stand against us with nothing but your pride and your ships? You're no different from the species we've crushed before." Stark's eyes burned with a quiet, dangerous intensity. "You're wrong. We're not here to conquer. We're here to survive, to show you that we've learned from the mistakes of our past. We will rebuild this galaxy, not on the ashes of others, but through the strength of our will. And if you stand in our way," her voice grew colder, her words laced with the weight of finality, "then we will burn it all down." The alien commander's face twisted with frustration, but there was no denying the truth in her words. The galaxy had miscalculated humanity. They had thought Earth was nothing more than a dying world. They had thought the humans were just relics, with no place in the universe. But now they knew better. "We'll see if your resolve holds, Captain," the commander said, before the transmission abruptly ended. Stark turned away from the hologram, her eyes steely with determination. The Indomitable had shaken the galaxy, but it was only the beginning. The universe would never again see Earth as a forgotten, insignificant world. Humanity had risen from the ashes of its past, and it was here to claim its place among the stars. The ship moved forward, relentless. As the alien fleets continued their retreat, there was no negotiation now. There was no peace. There was only the promise of what was to come, a galaxy that would learn to fear humanity. But beneath the calm, beneath the cool determination of Captain Stark, there was something else. A question that had been haunting her since the Indomitable had made its first strike. Was this truly the path to survival, or had humanity now set itself on a course from which there would be no turning back? Her thoughts were interrupted by the sound of her officer's voice. "Captain, we've received another transmission. It's the Council again." Stark's gaze darkened. "Put it through." The hologram flickered to life once more, revealing a familiar figure, the alien ambassador. His posture was no longer proud and confident. It was one of surrender, of resignation. "Captain Stark," he said, his voice laced with weariness. We can't continue this war. You've proven your strength. We've seen your resolve. The galaxy will bend to you, or it will break. What is it that you want from us?" Stark looked at him for a long moment, weighing her options. The galaxy's might was at her fingertips. The Indomitable was more than a ship. It was a symbol of humanity's revival. But the weight of their future hung in the balance. "What do I want?" Stark echoed. She paused. "I want humanity to be remembered. I want Earth's name to be spoken with reverence. And I want the galaxy to know one thing." She leaned forward, her voice low but filled with quiet, burning intensity. "We are no longer just survivors. We are the reckoning. We are the future, and we will be the ones to shape it." The transmission ended, and the room fell silent once more. Stark turned to face her crew, the flickering lights of the command deck reflecting in her eyes. "Prepare the fleet," she ordered. "The galaxy is ours to shape, and this time no one will stand in our way." As the Indomitable powered forward, humanity's return to the galaxy was complete. It was no longer a question of survival. It was a question of legacy, and the galaxy had just witnessed the rebirth of a species that would never again be ignored.